Yo, what is up guys? It's your boy Maurice. We're back for another banger ass video. And in this video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Now, I know on this channel, I usually talk about fights, but on this video, I kind of wanted to do something different. In this video, I wanted to rank every single saga in Dragon Ball Z. And I'm talking about the main 4 sagas. I'm not talking about any filler sagas. So just the main 4 sagas, and that's it. Now, this is gonna be kind of hard for me because I like all of these sagas, or at least most of these sagas. So it's gonna be kind of hard for me to say which one I like over the other. But I wanted to branch out on this channel and I wanted to talk about other things in Dragon Ball other than, characters taking L's, or, this character beating this character's ass, or this, and I just wanted to do something different. So yeah, for this video, we're going to be ranking the main 4 sagas in Dragon Ball Z. So let's get into it. This list will be in order from worst to best. And I want you to keep one thing in mind. This is very important because I don't want to start a war in the comments. This is my opinion. This is what I think. I don't want to hear, no, I don't think that this saga is, dude, this is literally my fucking opinion, all right? And I just wanted to put it out there. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Now at number 4, we have the Majin Buu saga. And I know that's probably no surprise to most people because this is a lot of people's least favorite arc as well. But just hear me out, all right? Okay, so for the first half of the arc, I kind of like the world tournament setting they had going on. I kind of liked seeing Goten and Trunks fight. I liked seeing Gohan go Super Saiyan 2 against, I can't remember his name. It was, I think, Kibito Kai, I think. Dude, all of those moments were cool. And then, halfway through, you could tell that the writer didn't know what the fuck he wanted to do with the story anymore. Because then halfway through, they're fighting this pink monster that is just a ripoff of Cell. Dude, Majin Buu is literally just Cell, but pink. He can regenerate. He can use the other characters' moves. And dude, like I said, dude, he is just Cell, but pink and more annoying. Dude, like I said, it is obvious that the writer did not know what he wanted to do with this arc halfway through. Not to mention, there are way too many damn transformations in this arc. Bro, seriously, the Majin Buu saga is where all the memes come from of, Dragon Ball is just a bunch of, transformations and shit. This is literally where the meme comes from because during this saga, dude, every character got a new transformation. Every character, bro. Even the fucking kids, bro. Even Goten and Trunks, who were 7 and 8 at that time, went Super Saiyan without even having to go through any sort of, trauma. Bro, they went Super Saiyan because they said they can. They said, hold up, let me go Super Saiyan real quick, even though it's my first time. Bro, who the fuck does that? Bro, I would say they're different for doing that, but me, I call it lazy writing. That's just the writer wanting to put more, transformations to sell more toys. And this is also where that dumbass argument comes in of whether or not Kid Buu is more powerful than Buuhan. This is one of the most debated topics about this section of Dragon Ball. And I don't know why it's even a debate when Buuhan is literally a version of Majin Buu who has Ultimate Gohan, who, keep in mind, Ultimate Gohan at this point was the most powerful unfused character, right? He had the most powerful unfused character. He had Goten and Trunks in them, and he had Piccolo, bro. This man was stacked, and people really still sit up here and argue to this day on who was stronger, Kid Buu or Buuhan. Maybe the guy who literally has the most strongest non-fused character fused inside of him, and he can use that power. I wonder who the fuck would win. That's a dumbass argument. I don't know why, as Dragon Ball fans, we always have to make these dumb arguments of, who would win? But bro, the writer literally makes it obvious who would win if you just read the fucking manga or watched the show. Yeah, I don't know why this was ever an argument within the fandom, but I just had to put it to rest, bro. Buuhan smacks the fuck out of every version of Buu we've seen up to that point, all right? But with that side tangent out of the way, I just had to get that out of my system real quick. But yeah, with that out of the way, dude, like I said earlier, this whole arc just felt rushed. It felt like the writer did not know what the fuck he wanted to do halfway through, and he just said, fuck it, you know, I'm just gonna draw whatever I want. I'm not gonna care about the story. I'm not gonna care about any of the, you know, characters within said story. I'm just gonna draw whatever the fuck I want, write whatever story, and then turn that shit in by the end of the month so that I don't get fired. Fuck it. And that's exactly what he did for the entire latter half of the Majin Buu saga. Like I said, the first half of this saga, up until the end of the world tournament, was good, and then after that, it just all went to shit. Coming in at number 3, we have the Saiyan saga. Alright, now, I understand that I'm probably gonna get some hate for putting this so low on my list, but look, alright, the Saiyan saga, for what it was, the first saga in Dragon Ball Z, our introduction to Dragon Ball Z, right? Like right after the 5-year time skip, after Dragon Ball, this was our first introduction to these characters after the time skip. I don't know, I feel there could have been a lot more done with some of the other characters. Like, for instance, I don't like the fact that Tien, Chaozu, and Yamcha just get straight disrespected in this arc. Like, bro, dude, all throughout OG Dragon Ball, Tien, Yamcha, and Chaozu, they were those fucking guys. They were them. They were like the fucking Justice League of Dragon Ball. They were those guys, alright? And then Dragon Ball Z comes around and it just, dude, Dragon Ball Z just slaps the fuck out of Tien, Chaozu, and especially Yamcha, because they just continue to get fucked over after this arc, bro. They are forgotten after this, bro. The 23rd tournament was the last time they were relevant, and this arc really showed that. All right, but like I said, my main problems with this arc, like I said, are just the fact that the side characters, Tien, Yamcha, Chaozu, this is pretty much the start of their downfall. This is where we get the trope of, you know, Goku is out of commission and the other fighters have to wait and fight the henchmen and fight the main enemy until Goku comes and saves everybody, just in the nick of time. This is where that trope comes in, and it does not stop for the rest of the show, bro. That same trope just gets repeated over and over again. And it's cool if they did it one time, but bro, it happens in the next arc, and like dude, it happens on Namek, it happens in the Android arc, it happens in the Buu saga, like, I don't know. But to put it very simply, for those who are kind of lost, I just do not like the Saiyan saga for the simple fact, it's not even that I don't like it, it's just, I think it could have been better for the simple fact that this is, like I said, this is the start of the downfall for the side characters. This is pretty much where the side characters get thrown away. They are nothing. They are absolutely useless. If they're, dude, at this point, if you weren't a Saiyan or some sort of alien, you were irrelevant. You had no power. You had no say. You were just useless at that point. You were not powerful enough. And in a show or manga about power, and power literally being everything, and how they win fights, yeah, I mean, they're going to be, you know, forgotten about after a while, right? So yeah, like I said, my main problem with this arc is just they really disrespected the fuck out of Tien, Yamcha, and Chaozu, especially Yamcha. Please go check out my video on Yamcha. However, I do have to say though, besides those two issues that I put forward right now, them disrespecting the side characters and just the show changing its dynamic at that point to where everybody waits for Goku to come save everybody, dude, other than those two things that I have wrong with it, literally everything else about the Saiyan saga is goated. It is S tier. It is absolutely amazing. I just gotta put one more thing out there. This isn't necessarily a gripe I have with the Saiyan saga. This is just something that I wish Akira Toriyama did with a certain character. So Goku's brother Raditz, I really wish he saved Raditz for when Nappa and Vegeta showed up. I really feel I really feel Raditz would have been more impactful of a character, and his reveal as Goku's brother would have been a lot more impactful. if it had been when he had shown up with Nappa and Vegeta, right? Because now you got 3 Saiyans. One of them is literally a prince of like all of their people, right? The 5 remaining Saiyans at that point, right? Like, dude, one of them is a prince, one of them is Goku's brother, and the other one is like a giant fucking brute, right? I don't know, honestly, like I said, I just feel that the writer could have done a lot more with Raditz than what we got. Because like I said, bro, Raditz was kind of just thrown to the side after he died, right? Like, dude, after Raditz died, he's almost never mentioned again. He's never brought up. They never talk about him. He's just thrown to the side. Fuck it. You know, like, dude, Raditz is literally the first villain of Dragon Ball Z. He is the first villain we see. And he is just thrown to the side, casted away, as if he's just leftovers or some shit, you know? But yeah, honestly, I just really feel Raditz was done dirty. All right, now coming in at number 2, we got the Cell Saga, or as some people like to call it, the Android Saga. Now, where do I even begin with how much I just love this saga, bro? Like, seriously, I have very little negative things to say about this saga. That's how good it is. This saga really expanded the lore of Dragon Ball Z as we knew it. Cause think about it, at the time, we didn't know anything about other timelines. We didn't know anything about, you know, Goku dying of a heart virus, or, you know, or about androids coming to, you know, attack the city and killing all of the other Z fighters. We didn't know about any of that. And then here comes this kid out of nowhere. He kills Frieza, and then he tells the Z fighter, or he tells Goku, at least, he tells Goku that if they don't train, then they're going to die in a few years, because there's going to be 2 androids that are going to show up and kill everybody, right? And so this kind of, like I said, this just like really, you know, this just showed us that there's more to Dragon Ball than we knew. You know, there's multiple timelines, there's multiple stories, there's multiple outcomes for these characters. It's just, I don't know, you know, I can't really put it in words. It's just really good. And not to mention the fact that this is the same arc that introduced us to our boy Trunks, and Trunks is absolutely goated. He is definitely top 5 Dragon Ball characters in my opinion. So yeah, I'm just glad that, you know, they introduced him and that he is a very integral part of the story. Because like I said, you know, without Trunks, the Z fighters would have met the same fate that they did in the original timeline. You know, Goku would have died of a heart virus, you know, everybody else would have died to the androids, and you know, all that other bad stuff would happen. So yeah, you know, without him, there wouldn't be Dragon Ball Z. And the main reason I like this saga is because this saga built up Super Saiyan 2 very well. Because if you remember, you know, right after Goku woke up from the heart virus, you know, everybody was wondering how they would get stronger to beat the androids. You know, they knew that Super Saiyan just wasn't enough, and they had to go, you know, even beyond. And so, you know, they tried to go beyond, and they did, but there were some drawbacks with their forms. You know, sometimes they weren't, you know, powerful enough. Sometimes they weren't fast enough with their new forms. And so, you know, with Super Saiyan 2, none of that is even an issue anymore. You know, they have more power and more speed with no drawbacks at all. And that's honestly why I like Super Saiyan 2, is because it gives, you know, the character more speed and more power without any drawbacks at all. Like, pretty much it has 0 flaws at all. Whereas Super Saiyan 3, yeah, it's more powerful, but if you notice, you know, the characters aren't able to use it for long. It takes a heavy toll on their body, and they're not able to use it for long. So yeah, you know, it's more powerful, but it's not really something they're gonna use unless, you know, it's a dire situation. Which is why we honestly don't see the form that much anyway, right? Is because why use the form when you can barely use it anyway? Whereas Super Saiyan 2, like I said, there's no drawbacks at all. You get more power and more speed from Super Saiyan 1 with no drawbacks at all. like I said, there's just so much to like about this arc, and I could go on and on about this, but I don't want to make this video too long, so let's move on to the next one. And then finally, coming in at number 1, we have the Namek Saga. Now, this is a fan favorite, and it's for a good reason. This arc, I'd argue, is peak Dragon Ball. This is when Dragon Ball, both, you know, the manga and the anime, was at its peak, right? And so, yeah, you know, let me just go into some of the reasons why I like this arc. Alright, so one of the things that I really like about this arc is how it introduced Frieza as the main villain, right? So, usually when they introduce main villains in Dragon Ball, it's usually the main villain talking about what they want to do, you know, their plan. Well, you know, our introduction to Frieza was him, you know, murdering an entire village of innocent people looking for Dragon Balls. This guy was just completely different from any villain we've seen up to this point, you know. And like I said, you know, it was just a good introduction to the character of Frieza. I also like how the first half of the arc is like a giant game of hide and seek, right? So the characters are looking for the Dragon Balls, right? And they get the Dragon Balls, and then they have to hide because, you know, there's a villain coming towards them who's more powerful than them, and they can't take them on, you know. It's more than just fighting with this arc, you know, with the first half. It's more so about, you know, strategy. You know, how can I get by without fighting? Because I can't beat these guys. Whereas other arcs, it's just, you know, straight fighting. You know, fuck it, you know, let's run the fade, right? But with this arc, they literally could not run the fade with these characters. They'd get one-shotted, right? So, yeah, honestly, like I said, I just like how this arc was like a giant game of hide and seek for the first half of it. You know, it was like a really interesting dynamic for an arc. And the way they built up Frieza throughout this arc is just wonderful storytelling, right? Like, dude, all throughout this arc, we were just reminded that Frieza is that character that nobody is fighting. Nobody is touching this guy at this moment. His power level was like 530,000 in his first form, whereas the most powerful character up until Goku arrived. So, like, you know, when they first landed on Namek, Vegeta's power level was like 24,000, bro. He was not touching any form of Frieza at all. He would get one-shotted, right? And that goes the same for, you know, Gohan and Krillin. They were not touching Frieza at all. They weren't touching this guy. And so when we actually got to see the fight between, you know, Vegeta and Frieza for the first time, when they first fought, we got to see that the characters got more powerful because we saw that Vegeta was kind of holding his own against first form Frieza, you know, whereas at the start of the arc, you know, they did not want to even see this guy, you know, they were scared shitless of Frieza, and now they're taking him on one-on-one, you know. And speaking of Frieza, you know, I had to mention Goku's fight with Frieza, dude. This is probably one of the best fights in any anime I've seen, dude. I'd argue this is probably one of the best fights in any anime ever, dude. This fight is just amazing. And the build up to it, you know, like I said, you know, Frieza was just that character that everybody just feared. And then here comes Goku, and he takes on Frieza. And of course, you know, in, you know, Goku's base form, he wasn't really doing anything to Frieza, but he at least put up a challenge. Whereas everybody else, when they fought Frieza, you know, with the exception of Piccolo, they all got their asses handed to them. Whereas when Goku fought Frieza in his final form, that is, in his final form, when he fought Frieza, he actually gave Frieza a challenge. And so it was just interesting to see, you know, Frieza go from this character that nobody wanted to touch to now they have to fight him, and you know, it's a dire situation. And so, yeah, this fight will just go down as one of the best fights in anime history. And when Goku went Super Saiyan, that's when everything got really good, you know, because, dude, it was already good before that. After Goku goes Super Saiyan, That's like peak Dragon Ball right there. That right there is peak Dragon Ball, if you ask me. But with all that out of the way, that's the end of the video. That's my ranking. If you liked my ranking, if you liked this video, please leave a like and please subscribe. We're almost at 500 subscribers and I'd like to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Like, dude, I know we can do it. Let's make it happen, you know? And yeah, as usual, if you have any other video topics you want me to talk about, please leave them in the comments down below and I'll do my best to talk about them. And with that out of the way, I will see you guys later. Peace.